Shalom, Yerushalayim, Zeu sharim rashechem, Melech hakavod lo yanum velo yishan lach shalom, Yerushalayim. Shalom, Yerushalayim, Basera Elohim hu machasech, Al tifchadi, Ahuva sheli, Shalom, Yerushalayim. Shalom, Yerushalayim. That was one of the first songs I wrote after I started living here, and
Right.
You helped me so much with all those Hebrew songs that I was able to record later. And I remember I was sitting up on my roof. It was a Shabbat morning, interesting, and I was just standing there looking out over the streets. It was so quiet, so quiet, and I just started singing this, and this amazing sense of being able to speak over the city of Jerusalem, to speak His peace, to speak Shalom, and that sense of the King of Glory. He never slumbers, He never sleeps. He's always watching over this people and over this land, and it was a very special moment for me. So I know that the word Shalom, we hear it a lot,
probably not in the right meaning of it, but
probably not. So learn what the right meaning of it.
The word Shalom. The word Shalom basically comes from the same root, like Hebrew root that talks about being complete. Shalem, that's a whole, like being complete, and Shalom. Shalom is not any peace agreement being signed between nations. It's way deeper than that. It's way deep. It's being full, united, being a whole. That is what it's like. Every little piece is in place. You've come to this completion, and so that's what Shalom is about.
I suppose, like we talked in the last program about the rest of God. In a sense, that is the Shalom, isn't it? Because when He had completed everything, then that's and that place.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Wow. So we want to focus a little bit today on this third part of the three-stranded cord, Eretz Israel, the land of Israel. Just sort of remind us again how this three-stranded cord, how it works.
So as we said, I mean, the three-stranded cords. These are the three elements basically. It's like a three-piece puzzle, and so we have the people of Israel, and we have the Torah, which is the word, and the third piece, that's the land. And once one piece is missing, then the others could not exist, peacefully. And so, for example, when the people of Israel were sent into exile, they lose the land, they lose their home, and then the consequence for that was persecutions. So the existence of the people was at risk, and also all kinds of laws. against keeping the Jewish law. So Torah was at risk as well, once the land was missing from the.
Because they weren't in the land.
Exactly. So being expelled from the land, and this is what of course there were, we can't blame it on anyone other than ourselves, being sent from the land. This is a direct consequence of our deeds. So the land, this not to be returned gift that we received, that was promised to us and was taken from us as a consequence of our deeds. And from day one, when Abraham got the promises, after he followed God with complete faith, he blindly followed him. So the promise was about the people. There will be people, and they will have a land. So Abraham, in order to have the covenant with God, he had to come here. He had to come to the land. The covenant was not made in Haran or wherever he was. It was made here. Right. So he was instructed to go to the land that I would show you. Abraham didn't even know where he was going. And then once he got here, he got to the place of Elon Moreh in Samaria, up until today.
Yesterday.
Exactly.
Wow, it's amazing.
So once it was only when he arrived there, God made the covenant with him. And then he promised him the land. Look around you, the land that you see belongs to you, and it will belong to your descendants. And part of we talked about this given set of 613 rules of commands. Many of the commands are connected to being in the land. So, for example, a Jewish man living outside of Israel cannot live his life fully as a Jew, because he's lacking that part. He won't be able to keep some of the commands because some of them are connected to being in the land. So some of them are kept only in the land of Israel. Once you're outside of Israel, you're not allowed. You don't have to keep them. You're not even allowed to keep them. You're not able to keep them.
You can't, because you're not here.
Exactly. So basically, the land is the place. Is the place where the covenant is made. Where the covenant is fulfilled, fully fulfilled, with the Jewish people. And for that to happen, we need to be here. We need to be a people, to serve Him as a people, being united, keeping the word. But it all must happen here in the land of Israel.
We were with a group yesterday in El Moreh, and where the covenant was made with Abraham. And in the early Celtic Christians in sort of, especially I was up in the very north of England on the border of Scotland, and they had this expression, and for certain places they would call them thin places, and I love that expression. There's this kind of sense that in certain places it's like the presence of God. Somehow it's easier to touch. Like
heaven touches earth.
Heaven touches earth. Yes. And so I think when you come here to Israel, if you can somehow, I would so encourage any that come to Israel, don't neglect to go into Judea and Samaria. Don't neglect to go there to these places that. I think they're those thin places. They're the original thin place.
I think and also, if we look at it, then these are the places we are fighting for today.
Yes.
All these places like Elon Moreh, Beit El, Hebron, Jerusalem, Temple Mountain, all these very, very, very special places, all these very important places are the very places that we fight for today. I think, and there is a reason for that. I think it's a test, For
I was going to say,
I believe it's a test. I believe it's a test for us to show our faith, and how far along are you willing to go with this, with my word about these places, because obviously these places are not to be exchanged by anything. It's so important.
Wow, it's for me the whole sense of God's covenant, the covenant with Abraham, and then when he made, and then the covenant with Jacob. I mean, that whole sense of God's faithfulness is something that I feel I'm touching more and more deeply, and especially when I realize that there's this big picture that God has, and we stand in this moment in history, and we're not really we have this sense. I mean, obviously we're getting closer to the end of the age, but and I think we have this sense that we're really, really quite close to it, but of course we don't really know that.
Well, we believe in that.
We believe in that.
We're obligated to believe in that.
Yeah. And so I just, it's a wonderful thing to touch, to see that there's a bigger picture, and
I think the land really tells the story. The way that the land is structured, I don't know, the way, the way, the outline of it, I think it tells the story. I think it tells the story about God's nature in a way.
Yeah, I wish we could show our viewers that amazing lookout point that you took.
I mean, you could drive for 2 hours in Israel from north to south, from west to east, or vice versa, and you can actually in 2 hours change. I mean, all the types of views are changed in front of your eyes. Yes. I mean, you can go from the seashore to the mountains, and then the desert, and it's like
everything that God's created in creation.
It's just an amazing
it's all
thing.
In here.
It's an amazing thing to see. There is, I mean, this lookout that we visited. It's a lookout between the green mountains of Samaria in the winter. Like you see all the flowers and the poppies and it's so nice. Like really colorful mountains with lots of green. And then all of a sudden, at one point, it meets the desert, or the desert of the Jordan Valley. You could actually see like a line where the green stops and the brown starts. So it's an amazing thing. All these thin lines. You were talking about thin places. So all these thin lines. I mean for me, that's who God is. I mean, the King of all kings, but yet your best friend. And it's like there is this instant transfer. It's I think the land really tells a story, and my favorite image for the land is from the scriptures where the land is described as being like a mother waiting with open arms for her children to come back. I mean, any mother waiting for her children to come back would pray for it. Could we imagine the land prays for God? Bring back my children.
Wow. Bring
them back home.
What a thought.
It really is an amazing thing. I don't think the more I don't think it'll be enough. How much I will describe it. I mean, the way that the land responds, to what we've been doing here for the past 65 years. It's incredible. It's incredible. Yes. The blessing is incredible.
You see it.
And you could actually see it. Exactly. You could actually see it. I know that I think you need to choose to see it in a way. And I'm saying this also I'm not just saying this about people coming in from outside of Israel, but I'm saying people living in Israel. You know, it's because in one way, you know, it's a modern country, and life here could be, I mean, the same like life in other places, mortgage, bills, you know, all that. Fine, you get all that.
Yeah.
But you always have to bear in mind that there is something way deeper than that. You know, no matter how hard it could be, I mean, you're here for a purpose. You are here you are sent to be here. You are commanded to be here. This is not something you could choose not to do. It's part of your essence. It's part of who you are. This place.
It's so
your
interesting
roots
because
are here.
it's because I feel that too. I mean, you're saying that, and it's like, wait a minute, you're describing. I wasn't
You took
sure,
my lines.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about me or whether you were.
Maybe it was for a reason.
But you know that when I thought I was coming here for a year, and then it became very clear that that there was more to this, and it was literally God. I mean, I really see God's hand in how He has arranged things for me to be here, and I wasn't planning on that. And yet, the more I'm here in the land, the more I feel. I don't think I've ever felt a connection to physical land like I have here. It's like, well, how does that happen?
You know, there's a common phrase like, home is home.
Where the heart is.
Yeah. It's like you choose your home, right? I mean, you choose your home. Home is where your friends are, your family is, where your physical home is. That's not the case here. That is not the case. Our home was determined to be what it is.
Yes.
3,500 years ago. And you know, this place is like a magnet. I mean, it's a magnet for us, and it's a magnet for the whole world. You could actually see that. You could actually see that. I mean, just walking in Jerusalem or any other parts, but especially in Jerusalem, especially in the old city, in Temple Mount, it is so inspiring for me to see people from so many different nations just come here and pray. You know, and pray here. That this is almost as if their heart is telling them, this is the place to pray from. It is it's really incredible. Really incredible.
I think one of the verses that really speaks to Christians is the one about being a watchman on the wall, and it's like praying for the peace of Jerusalem, being a watchman on the wall, all of those things. And I think when our hearts are really, really touched by God, and even though I'm not part of the Jewish people as a people, yet, you know, I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like
I think well, you know, obviously that the whole principle of, I mean, the three-stranded cords and being a people, having the word, the land, these are all earthy things. These are things that belong in our world. Torah was not given to the angels. The piece of land that the Jewish people has got from God is not up there between the clouds. It's right here. This is news for the world. This is relevant for the whole world, not just for us as the Jewish people, not just for us. This is news for the whole world. And the Christian concept of being grafted in through Yeshua is I suppose I can only say that could be the only that could be the very reason of why so many Christians are coming here. Why do they come to pray? Why would they do that? I don't think it's always just to follow in the footsteps of Yeshua. I mean, I know that is something that people love to do, but I think it's way deeper than that. It's like that's like touching. There is a call towards this place.
There is a call
towards this place.
Yeah.
And you know, it's you know, I'm not a person dealing with politics, but you know, there's a tendency of looking at the land, having a political conversation about it, and that is just not the point. You know, it is not the point. I mean, even the politics is derived out of the faith. You know, out of the mission that we got as a people. You know, it is a privilege. It is a privilege to be able to be here, and just to be able to see what we see today. I mean, the Jewish people is returning. You know, Zionism is taking place. The Jewish people is returning in a gradual process to its homeland. I think this is news for the whole world. I mean, the world has something to gain from that. It's all over the place in the Bible. You know, that all the families of the earth would be blessed through you. But you know, we need to maximize our potential as the chosen people in order to serve as such light, in order to bring this blessing to the world. We would not be able to do that unless we're here in our homeland.
Wow, amazing. Let's finish with a song which really just cries out to God for His mercy as we see things the way they are, and have mercy, O Lord, on your people Israel. Have mercy, and on your city Jerusalem. And here we are in Jerusalem tonight, and so we cry out, praying for His mercy. Wow, it's feels kind of sad to come to the end of these programs for now. Would love your feedback about them, and just please be in touch with us. Find us on Facebook, Between Heaven and Earth. Write to us, let us know your response and what you're feeling about it, what more you'd like, maybe even some questions so that we can actually talk about some of the things that are on your hearts. Would be great for us to be able to explore as well. So find us on Facebook, and that's the end of it now. So website too. If you want to help us move on to the next step and do more of these, please feel free to support us. It would be really wonderful. And we're going to finish one more time with a song that we love to sing as we cry out for Mashiach to come. I feel that there's an awakening and a sort of a renewing of this cry, and that's something that we, especially I say to myself as a believer in Yeshua, it's a thing that we need to not forget, is to cry out for Mashiach to come, and to be able to do this together with Gil in one place is very, very special. Thanks, Gil.
Thank you.
So tell us the words again of this.
So, אני מאמין, I believe, באמונה שלמה, in complete faith, with all my heart and soul, בביאת המשיח, in the coming of the Mashiach, ואף על פי שיתמהמה, even though he delay, עם כל זה אחכה לו, despite all that, I will wait for him. Every day he will come.